Hello and welcome to another instalment of the Full Force Monthly, brought to you by Hoardar, the Collector's app. I'm Christopher McLeod AKA Diagnostic 80, and in this regular series we get stuck into specific G.I. Joe related topics with different special guest hosts every single month. So who's joining me on this episode? Well, first up we have my regular Full Force Weekly co-host, one half of the Articulated Points YouTube channel and General Joe Mastermind, Patrick Notpicard Stewart, Ireland's foremost expert on Snake Eyes, co-author of the incredible Total series including the upcoming Total Action Force Volume 2, Paddy Insurance Premium Lennon, and boss fight studio partner and art director Erik Accident at Work Araña. But what, pray tell, are we discussing on today's episode then? Well, we thought we would lighten it up a bit to focus on those classic G.I. Joe and Cobra vehicles that offer almost zero protection for their operators. These are the most dangerous vehicles in the history of the brand, so drive them at your own peril. Right then, what is it, Pat?
It's the Full Force Monthly.
Hey! So I'm so happy for so many reasons. Okay, so sorry we're about 8 minutes late, guys. That's on me because we were having the most hilarious lineup with our names fiasco ever. So big shout out to Brian Sauer for doing our amazing graphics. Yes, this is a monthly. Yes, he's done our graphics with names on it. And could I get us to line up in the proper boxes? Could I buggery? So now we are live and we're in the right places. Let's say hello to everybody. Erik, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm good. I just came in from some lawn work, so my eyes are a little itchy and
good.
Allergies.
Perfect for being on screen.
Wonderful to get on screen with my looking like a pirate.
So I think I chose it's gonna be like that. Brilliant to have you on, mate. Do you like your nickname for this one? Because obviously we're dealing with terrible, dangerous vehicles. I thought Accident at Work would be quite a good nickname.
Yeah, at Boss Fight we have a sign that says, it's been 0 days since an accident, and it's always at 0 days since an accident.
We had to change it to minutes, didn't we?
Yeah.
Anyway, great to have you on, mate. Thank you very much for joining us. Paddy, all the way from Ireland, Insurance Premium Lennon. Again, linked to the vehicles. How are you doing, my good man?
Good, really good, actually. I've had a very interesting day researching stuff for the Action Force book. So the one horrible thing is, of course, is that now I want to collect all of that Action Force toys again. Now I look at them going, oh yeah, I remember the hydrofoil. And then you're on eBay immediately, like, how much is a hydrofoil these days?
And then crying like a lot when you see the prices. Yeah, that's great, man. I can't wait for that book. I mean, it's been a while now. Why is it not in my hand?
That's all Brian's fault.
Right, blame Brian. Point the fingers at Brian. Totally cool. We're already getting some cracking comments, but before that, obviously, Pat, how are you doing, my good man? My regular co-host.
Doing well. Yeah, it's not been too long since we've had a live. And
when it yesterday,
I wasn't sure if we'd get one in before Yojo June again, but here we are.
I know. Okay, so like full disclosure, May got away from us. Me specifically, we didn't even have up to yesterday. We didn't even have the topic ready to go. Paddy actually dropped this ages ago when we were discussing the monthly. Paddy, this was your idea, wasn't it? I mean, to do the vehicles. I mean, why is it? I mean, it does feel like a constant topic of conversation in the G.I. Joe fandom, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, we talk about best vehicles and worst vehicles a lot, but I really wanted to discuss which vehicles would kill their driver and passenger.
which are really going to F them up, basically, yeah.
Which are really going to mess them up, like bodily and mentally. And
zero protection, absolute insurance to the roof. This is what we're dealing with on today's episode.
Missiles launching 6 inches away from your face.
I know, I love all of those things. And it's funny, like, we don't even talk about the vehicles, but like Fast Draw, for one, would probably be screwed, and he'd probably have no arms left after firing them.
Well, what about the guys that have the missile launchers attached to their helmet? How is
it Mace?
Crack. Yeah.
Or Mercer with that thing right over his shoulder.
Yes.
Yeah. Mace took out that his tank, but he broke his neck at the same time.
Unfortunately, Mace is now dead. We've already got loads of comments coming in. I can't show them on screen on this format because it screws our windows up. But great. Thanks, Tac Tac, Wolverine Snick, Couchboy, Diecast Nick, Jeremy Kimberlin. Thanks for jumping on, guys. Really appreciate it. It is, I know this is an awkward thing to do, but like I said, May got away from us in terms of monthlies, and I thought, you know what would be quick and easy to do? Let's just bash out a monthly live. And here we are. Right, let's get stuck into them, guys. And obviously, first up, we're just gonna get into our, I think, GI Joe vehicles first, but you're gonna have a video first. So here you go. Right, so how does this work? Well, we will be offering up one Joe vehicle and one Cobra vehicle each and discussing why they deserve the top spot for the vehicle most likely to cause serious bodily harm to their respective drivers. First up are the Joes, and Paddy will go first. What vehicle have you decided is the worst one for the Joe team? You're on, Pad.
Okay, so for me, I decided to go with a 1990 entry, the Mobile Battle Bunker, or the Mobile Decapitation Bunker, as I tend to call it. I have a feeling a lot of our choices. I have a feeling a lot of our choices are going to come from this latter half of the GI Joe era, because they got all the easy stuff out in the first few years, tanks and jets and so on, and then they're just throwing ideas at the wall to see what sticks, from 1989 onwards. So this thing is basically a bedside locker that's got armor put onto it, and it has this sliding out sock drawer kind of thing.
With driver Marie Antoinette.
Yes, and so you've got these two guys on the box art. It's top side, and I don't know who else it is, but
they're sitting an ambush in the front.
Ambush, yeah.
Yeah, bush in the front, right? So the two guys on top
Did you just say
are
bush
dead. The two guys on top are going to be dead in about 40 seconds, sitting just there on like regular chairs on this high-speed mobile battle bunker.
Yeah, but they're really expensive office chairs.
Okay. I thought they were fold-out garden chairs.
Got like lumbar support. And...
Those things probably don't even have good lumbar support. They're definitely not armored. So yeah, top side is probably dead within about 40 seconds of this thing appearing on the battlefield. And then you've got ambush sitting in this cat's litter tray that slides out at the bottom that offers absolutely no protection. And he's got, again, typically, missiles flying away from beside his head, about 14 inches from this side of his head. So basically, and then the other thing is, there's an actual battering ram at the bottom, right where Ambush's feet are. So if they encounter a battlefield obstacle like a wall or something, the debris is going to shoot the top of his face. He's going to get a brick to the face.
Amazing. There are so many things you picked out on this that I hadn't even noticed before. But like if they hit like a cow or a human being, Ambush is just covered in
whatever.
Yeah, basically. Oh my god, that is hilarious, mate. Hilarious.
So yeah, literally, I'd say like the life expectancy to crew with this thing is about 4 minutes. And it's great.
I really wish they'd made Marie Antoinette the driver of this one. That's amazing.
Didn't they in the comics? Didn't they drop this thing from orbit as well with clutch and rock and roll in it or something like that?
I'm sure.
Like on top of that,
yes,
they threw it out of a space shuttle.
I can't even remember if they even used parachutes for that. Probably not. They just probably had Ambush at the front, ready to protect it from hitting the ground.
Yep.
I notice as well. Topside is on the top. Like, is he always positioned on the top of vehicles? By the way, just because of his code name, is he like contractually obliged never to be underneath anything?
Sometimes he's alongside of it as well.
Oh, okay. So he could be.
He's a power top.
Yeah.
That's gross. Amazing. Robert H says the battle bunker always feels like it should be a mini headquarters playset because of the name. Then you open it up and all you get is a driver's seat and missiles. Absolutely. Oh, great. We're getting loads of people jumping on as well now. Hello, guys. Hello, Dan Klingon Smith. How you doing? Dan K. Good shout out to Dan. Right. Well, That's an absolute beauty, Paddy. What do you guys say? Do you agree with Paddy on this one? Is this a danger wagon, Pat?
I think it says something due to the fact that it doesn't come with a vehicle driver. Like, none of
nobody's dumb enough to volunteer.
It all just comes with a bag of head sculpts, is what it comes with, in a basket. That's amazing. Erik, are you a fan of this one?
I think this is actually the safest vehicle in the Joe line. There's no way anyone could ever get hurt when operating this vehicle.
Yeah, you're right. This is the safe one. Certified. We'll put the stamp on it. This is fine. Sorry, Paddy. This doesn't go into room 101. What show am I on right now? Right. What's up, Snake Eyes Declassified? How you doing? Right. So moving on then, Paddy. Thanks for that one. We will come back to you when we do our Cobra lineup as well. But that was an absolute beauty. Next up is Erik. Erik. Who's next?
We'll see.
Let's see.
That's mine.
It's Pat.
Yeah, I had to pick the Road Toad. You know, the Road Toad, it would have been fine if it was just a tow behind. Like, just as a tow behind vehicle, it's certainly okay. You know, it can tow vehicles off the battlefield or wherever they may have broken down. And it even provides a little bit of an armament as well for that. But as soon as they put those front wheels on it, and it's driving around on its own, seemingly, because Roadblock here looks confused, first of all.
He's so confused. Having to drive something...
I didn't know this thing could move.
It's like he's
looking
shifted.
for the engine. He doesn't know where that is.
Brilliant.
And the driver's seat faces towards the side. Like, how is he supposed to see what he's driving at?
It looks to me like whenever they were designing this, it was going to be just a tow behind. And then they just decided to put some front wheels on it and say that it drives itself. And even in the commercial, there's like an animated portion where it's driving around and you have Hawk. Like, let's put the leader of the G.I. Joe team on this ridiculously dangerous tow behind cart that just seems to be driving itself. It's not a safe one. I'm picking the Road Toad.
Can I just also add here, Roadblock is in a position that one, A, can't see the road, B, he can't see any enemies firing at him. He literally is just out there getting shot at. And also the cannon seems to have a mind of its own. It's just, I'm the fire over here randomly. I'm looking over here though, cannon. I want to shoot over there. How do I control it?
Randomly shooting civilians 4 miles off in that direction behind his head.
If this was some sort of like pack rat type of vehicle that went on its own and like got vehicles and towed them off the battlefield, something like that. But the reality is they're not going out in the middle of battle and retrieving a broken down vamp. Like, why would they be doing that?
Yeah, exactly. They'd just be shooting it by accident on one of these.
Why would you arm it then? Why is it firing at something?
It's hilarious.
Well,
Brett Smith says, "I'm just trying to figure out where Roadblock's legs are."
He lost them. They were blown off by an
They
IED.
had to remove. Yeah, he got them chopped off on the battle bunker, and now he can drive this.
You just imagine him leaning back on the chair with his feet up on the edge of the battle bunker, and then it's like action stations.
And then they batter through a wall, and his legs get sliced off.
So the Road Toad is a beauty, isn't it? The funny thing is, though, out of the two so far, I really love the mobile battle bunker, and the Road Toad I have such an odd connection to, because obviously this was Action Force release, wasn't it, Paddy?
It was. Yeah.
We got this one. My mate
Why
Sean
I
had
do
this.
not know.
Oh, it's because they didn't sell here, so they repackaged them and sent them to you guys.
Exactly. The people in the UK, they're used to hilarious equipment like this on the battlefield. They'll know what they're doing. Anyway, yeah, the Road Toad, absolutely a great shout there, Pat. Really good, mate. And I'm kind of edging. I don't know. They're both really good options so far. I really like this. This is a good show so far, if I don't say so myself. We've got some people coming in. Jeremy says, well, actually, Jeremy, I'm going to hold fire on that comment because you might be seeing that in a little while. Brett Smith says it looks like a rejected Mario Kart concept. It kind of does, doesn't it? Yeah, I can see that.
Roadblock's going to throw a turtle shell out.
The wrong direction.
Yeah,
it's probably more offensively worthwhile to have a blue shell and that cannon on top.
Couchboy says, where has Justin General's Joe's been lately? Good question. Good question. Got nothing to do with the show, but good question. We'll keep poking him so he comes back on again. I think he just hates us.
Yeah.
In any case, let's move on from the Road Toad to the next one, which I believe is Erik's choice. Yeah. And that is...
the Ram. So, just so everyone knows, the Ram is also my favorite and my first G.I. Joe vehicle. But at the same time, I know that in World War II they used motorcycles and stuff often, and same in Korean War and stuff like that. Like the military used them. Using them in the middle of battle, those just seems absolutely insane to me. To use a motorcycle like that, you have no protection whatsoever. But that said, the biggest issue with this is the giant Gatling gun that's on the side. So I imagine as he's driving towards Cobra, Breaker hits the switch and starts firing, and the Ram just starts spinning clockwise around the battlefield, peppering Joes and Cobras alike.
Definitely. Definitely agree with that. In fact, if you look at the card art, the explosion behind is his bike smashing into the wall as he's just fired that gun.
It's actually him falling over.
It's the recoil just sending him flying backwards.
Yep.
Jeremy says, Ram, bold choice. It is a bold choice, but that's what Erik likes to do.
Like I said, it's also my favorite vehicle. So, I mean...
Dan Kay says, be careful, Road Toad may show up in the classified line. Mate, if it does, I'm all in. And with a roadblock repaint to go along with it, please. Because we need some more roadblock figures, don't we, guys?
A legless roadblock repaint.
Yeah, you can customize it however you want. You just need your own battle bunker for that. Jeremy says that logic seems sound, honestly. So there you go, Erik. You've got a few people kind of backing you up on that one.
Yay!
I agree. Like when you first said it, I was like, oh, and then I thought the gun, of course. Yeah. As soon as you turn that on, it's just going to be like donuts, or he's really going to be having to steer into
it, wrenching the handlebars. Of course, it doesn't even have handlebars.
Well, that's true. Ram doesn't.
There's no way to control it.
It's just that weird clip that you can't actually put a G.I. Joe's hand into.
Amazing. Couchboy's actually said a good one. We haven't mentioned. Probably won't be mentioning until now, and that's the air chariot from Serpentor. Yeah, offers very little way in the way of Serpentor safety. So much so that he was offed in the comic as well. So, but then again, he was standing on top of a his tank, wasn't he, at that point? I can't remember what he was doing at that point. Brett Smith, to note, the blueprint said that was a 20mm cannon, the same size gun used by the A10 Fairchild. And that really is a powerful weapon. So, yeah, I think a motorcycle doesn't stand a chance with the kick on that. Anyway, Robert H. says, man, all these boxes say they don't shoot. No wonder they aren't safe. The drivers can't defend themselves. Good point there, Robert. Good point. Right, that's the Ram. Good shout, Erik. I'm gonna rock on now with one that you'd probably suggest. I think if you were to say a vehicle in the G.I. Joe line on the Joe's side that doesn't offer much in the way of safety for multiple passengers, or at least one primary passenger, is this one, the Havoc. And I think you'd get a lot of people saying this one. This would be the first one that kind of came to mind, I think. And this was the first one that came to my mind. And that's because, obviously, on the box art, we see old General Hawk there. On the what is effectively the shoot me if you can hit me seat. The couldn't hit a cow's bum with a banjo if you can't shoot General Hawk in that seat.
I don't think that's a saying.
No, well, it's a little bit different, but I had to censor it for the YouTube algorithm. Also, I kind of feel like until that that pod is released, Lifeline's also pretty screwed with his kind of torso and head sticking out the top of that space.
What about the guys that are standing on the side when that opens? They're gonna just push them right off.
They're off. When the missiles take off, they're leaning on. They'll be sitting on it as it flies off. There's just a lot of stuff going on here. But yeah, the main one for me is that seat at the top, and I just think it's just been one of those situations where, you know, they really didn't think about cross country or General Hawk in this case on the card art.
Well, and didn't like the seat actually like shifted down in front of the window?
Yes, it kind of so it sits in the back, and then it
like,
also goes.
Where's the logic in it doing that?
It just to get an easier shot, I guess. Try and hit me now, guys. I'm closer.
I'm moving forward and backwards really, really slowly. Try and hit me now.
Yeah, that thing is a Stanner stair lift, Paddy. That ain't that thing isn't moving fast, is it? That's like
no, it's not. That's just.
Is it to prevent the guys in front from wanting to get out? Like, does it just move up and kind of lock them in place?
I want to get out. You'll have to go out the hole that Nemesis and Force made out the
What I
back.
like to imagine is before everybody goes out onto this, they're like, you're going to be in the Havoc, and they're thinking to themselves, okay, HA, that's heavy, that's armored. Okay, I'll go. And then they're there, and they're like, no, the A stands for articulated.
Yeah.
Got a lot of moving parts.
It's like one of those bendy buses you see in some European cities.
Oh, and the C actually stands for catastrophic loss of life. So it's heavy articulated vehicle ordnance, catastrophic loss of life. Anyway, yeah, the Havoc for me, just and again, don't get me wrong, I love this vehicle, and I would also say that the Sky Havoc is another one of my favorites. I absolutely adore this vehicle. It is one of the most interesting designs going. I love the tracks. I love the kind of shapes and everything you got going on. There's a lot of like weird futuristic stuff packed into what looks like at the end of the day like a very clunky military vehicle, which still, do you know what I mean? Like it's like a mixture of what is like super futuristic, but then also really old school military tech.
If
and
that
I think
thing
it's
was like
beautiful.
white and blue, it would be like an amazing Star Brigade vehicle, because you're right, it's very military and very like
Great shout.
Like artillery type of vehicle, but at the same time it's also very futuristic and very modern.
Yeah,
so it kind of
that's a really good custom job as well. I think needs to be done. I think that would be brilliant to have that as like a Space Force or Star Brigade. I think that'd be wicked.
Space Force, it would be really nice in the grays and the whites with the orange logo. That'd be nice.
Absolutely. Couple of more comments coming through. Funny enough, actually, Couch Boy, the Fang you mentioned is like a helicopter chair and wide open. Yes, it is. It really is. We didn't put that in, but I think we can all agree here, can't we, guys, that the Fang probably would make it comfortably into most people's terrible vehicles to drive if you want to survive.
Yeah.
And they get destroyed by the dozen in the comics and so on as well. Yeah, like they get swatted out of the sky by everybody. Like, you know, takes them out in the comics.
Robbie O says, happy Sunday, everyone. Just spreading love and watching live here in Calabasas, California, US of A. Thank you very much, Robbie O. Hope you're enjoying it. Well, you just said you were, so I don't know why I said that. Brett Smith has probably only carried max of 5 rounds. Probably
big,
did.
Giant cannons, actually, yeah.
Yeah, there's very little ammo storage in any of the GI Joe vehicles when you think about it.
Zycast Nick says Havoc glass canopy, multiple health and safety issues there. Yes, I'm hoping it would be like somewhat resistant to fire, to a lot of things. But yeah, it's a glass canopy at the end of the day. You're asking for trouble, and you can see the people in it, so that's another danger. Action Figure Expert has thrown this in. What about Air Commander gliders? Yeah, I mean the gliders are just sitting ducks, aren't they?
Yeah, that's just a crazy thing to.
Yeah, I would say we went a bit further than that, but we will be talking about something very similar a little bit later on in the show. And Couchboy says they actually use hang gliders in combat. That's crazy. There was a great story, a great documentary I saw on one of the Discovery military channel type things. And it was about the use of gliders in a specific mission where they stealthed in like to this like tiny island off.
Yeah.
I can't remember. It was like Iceland or something like that. No, it Greek. I can't remember exactly where it was, but it was some remote island, and they used gliders to kind of stealthily get in there. It was amazing. Anyway, yes, Couchboy, that's very, very true. Okay, right. Well, let's move. So a couple more. Jeremy says, I own 2 Havocs, but super impractical. Yes, they are very impractical. Okay. Jason says the trouble bubble for sure. Well, we're getting on to
that one's definitely not safe.
We are moving on actually to Cobra. A couple more. Well, one more comment from Adam. The correct answer to this question is the adder. If the lack of cover from enemy fire is enough, the top-mounted missile fire would get you. Well, we are moving into Cobra next, aren't we? And I believe it's Paddy again. So Paddy, lo and behold, and perfect segue from Adam Drake. It's the Cobra adder.
I picked the adder. Yes. 1988 also offered in 1989. Why they kept this thing around for 2 years in the toy line, I'll never know. So this thing is supposed to be an anti-tank weapon. Those missiles on the top are anti-tank missiles. This thing, first of all, the center of gravity. Road Pig is in a completely unarmored driver's cockpit that sits in front of the 6 wheels, which means the center of gravity of this thing is going to be terrible.
I didn't even think about that.
It rides very low to the ground if you look at the box art there. So there's no way that this thing is an all-terrain vehicle. So it's going to have to keep to roads. And as the Ukrainians are telling the Russians at the moment, if you stay on the roads in an armored vehicle, you are FUCKED.
Absolutely.
So some lad with a rocket launcher will just take this thing out, no bother at all. But you don't even need a rocket launcher because Road Pig the Biggie just is sitting there up front with no protection whatsoever. The missile going off over his head, the concussive blast of the launch will probably end up causing him sudden nerve trauma, giving him migraines, burst eardrums.
I mean, it's Road Pig. Do they care?
Raises the possibility of him having a stroke in later life.
I like that you've gone through his entire medical history on this one. This is really
just
really
driving.
went into this.
I really did. This is why they could only get that idiot a Road Pig to drive the bloody thing.
How do you think he got that red streak in his hair, by the way, Paddy? How do you think he got that?
Just a burn from the missile going off 4 inches above the left ear, like. So yeah, estimated survival time in combat is about 3 minutes. So yeah, I think this thing is. I mean, you put this thing up against a Mobad or a Mauler, it's going to be over in like no time at all.
Also, you can shoot 2 missiles off it, then it's trash. It's a go-kart.
Yes, and there's absolutely no.
At that point,
that is a luge, if ever I've seen
and there's
one.
absolutely no anti-personnel weapons. If he runs into a squad of GI Joes with machine guns, he's dead. He's got nothing to shoot back with.
How do you think those wheels turn? They're like flat up against the side of the.
Yeah, you can hear them like rubbing against the side of the.
Straight.
Yeah, the underside of that thing is going to grind against everything. This is why I think it's only suitable for roads.
And pigs.
Yes, and pigs.
Jeremy says, I remember getting Adder for Easter as a kid. I'm sorry, mate. Really sorry about that. And this is a good point, actually, from Diecast Nick. He says, Adder looks like it took 5 minutes to design. There does appear to, it does give the vibe that it's unfinished a little bit, doesn't it? The Adder.
Mm-hmm.
Or it was like meant to be part of something else, like part of the flag or part of the like
Optimus Prime.
Yeah, it came out. It's a roller.
Exactly.
I don't know. I get the feeling that the adder is meant to stay near a base, and this is just merely a way of moving missiles into position.
Yeah.
And then maybe the dude he needs to get out before they even fire.
Yeah.
You know? It's kind of like, the headquarters, the G.I. Joe base has that, well, it didn't come with it, but there's that place that I forget, like the name of it escapes me, but there's missiles for the Joe side.
Yeah,
you can't even move them.
Yeah.
So this is kind of an upgrade from that, sort of, right?
They can move it around the Terradrome.
They always showed these in the comics, didn't they? Like lined up, like a lot of them in certain areas where you had like aircraft approaching, like if it was like approaching a base or a setup or something, and they would use them as kind of like, as if they were just regular standalone missile launchers. And obviously, like you say, the actual Adder vehicle aspect is really just to get it in position And then it's like, right, lock it into place. Road Pig, what are you still doing in there, you blooming idiot? Get out of there. We'll fire it remotely. And I think even in the comics, you had people sitting in the front of them. I think you even had like flak vipers or something like that, if I remember correctly. Some sort of vipers were operating them in the comics when
it
this
may
came
make
out.
more sense as a tow behind.
Yeah, or just to stay behind. Just to stay behind.
Or something
Right.
to stay in the Terrordrome or something.
Yeah.
Just stay behind, Cobra Adder. Again, I as much as goofy as it is, I still can't hate it. Isn't that weird? Like, I can't hate anything with
I
the
love
G.I.
those
Joe
whistle designs. That's like the coolest thing about it.
I love all these vehicles we're bringing up.
Oh,
I know
yeah.
it's hilarious, isn't it? It's like the thing is, we just want a laugh and we just want a bit of fun, and I think it is funny talking about these vehicles in a practical sense, because if you, like you say, like Paddy says, that missile goes off, no one has any hair left or probably any skin that's sitting right there. So yeah, amazing. Rudy Zissou says Paddy's intimate knowledge of medical ailments for Joes is excellent. There you go, Paddy.
Well, I do my research.
Paddy,
Brett.
Lifeline, Lennon.
It looks like the vehicle they used to tow around aircraft at the airport and decided to stick missiles on it just to scare everyone on the planes. Hang on, are they missiles? Don't worry about it. Just keep looking forward.
Board your Ryanair flight and shut up.
Yeah, Action Figure Expert has also called out the G.I. Joe RPV. It's like the ad for the Joes, isn't it? In a funny way.
I don't even know what that thing is for.
But we'll be talking about that a little bit later, possibly. Spoiler alert. Speaking of spoilers, Jason said Destro. Well, he said Destor's the spoiler, but I think you mean Destro's spoiler.
No.
Yes, Destro. Who's Destor? Is he a new character? Destro's twin
He's the
sister.
Action Force version of Destro.
Destor, I didn't know it was you. Brett says the Coastal Defender, Patrick. I don't know why he's picking you out for that.
No, it's you know what I was thinking of is the G.I. Joe Air Defense. That's
that's it.
I just couldn't remember.
I see. The Coastal Defender's a good one though, Brett. But like when I looked at it, I gave it a good look. As goofy as it is, there's a bit more protection than most. Like the kind of panel comes up quite high, and it's got that back piece that hooks over. So it's you're exposed, but not in the same way that some of these are. But anyway, I know
the danger. That is the thing that was being towed by the road toad in the commercial.
Right.
So I don't know if I'd want to be the thing being towed by the road toad.
Oh
Double dragon, that is, isn't it?
Especially without a hitch. They just have like the winch on there and they're flying into battle. You're just zipping back and forth.
Swip rolling as well, like side to side.
Right.
Oh my goodness. Rudy Zissou says, does Paddy know which hair product brand Road Pig uses to dye his red strip in his barnet?
That's just blood.
Thank you. I couldn't have answered that better myself. Couch Boy says CoverGirl pokes out of a bridge layer. Not bridge layer, it's a Wolverine.
The Wolverine.
Face exposed in a tank, but not in it. Yeah, that is kind of exposed for CoverGirl in the Wolverine, definitely. And you have to argue that what's his name in the bridge layer?
Same as bridge layer.
Tollbooth, yeah.
Tollbooth, yeah, Tollbooth. I almost said Toss and Cross, but that's like the nickname for the bridge layer, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's also his nickname for completely different reasons. Right. Hello, Outback Stew. Right, then let's move on then. Cobra Adder is a great shout to start us off with. Was that Pat? That was you, wasn't it, Pat?
That was me.
That was Paddy. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry, it's because we're all in different... I don't know. I don't even care anymore. Anyway, let's move on to the next one, which is Patrick.
The Cobra Ringneck. I chose the Cobra Ringneck mainly because I actually do kind of love this vehicle. And at the time that it came out, it got a lot of hate that I think is worth discussing and acknowledging. But overall, for all the G.I. Joe vehicles, I think the main goal for a G.I. Joe vehicle is to have features that kids can imagine and then have fun with.
Yeah.
And yeah, the Ringneck does have the problem that it has these small guns, and the gun in the center where the guy actually is covered, it shoots one missile and it's done. So he's perfectly protected after he's fired once. and then it's up to everybody else. And I don't even really know who's driving. Maybe the guy in that turret is the one that's driving.
Yeah, he's just like drive, fire missile, drive. That's what he's doing.
Yeah, but as I recall, there's handles that imply that the guy in front is the one doing the driving.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's definitely has the more rugged construction of a modern G.I. Joe vehicle. Well, I say modern, for something that's from 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But
you can't say modern anymore, mate. You can't say
that
anymore.
I can't. It has the construction from that era. And I still love it, but it had to be my pick because my love for it was despite acknowledging everybody's criticisms of it at the time.
Ed Badaluka, I love this comment. It's so chubby, like me. I have a crush. Thank you. That's a great shout, mate. No, it's got that real chunk to it, hasn't it? This vehicle. The wheels are nice and chunky. The actual body of it's like a giant
and you can make
Vans
shoe out of the guns on the sides. They pop out and then they have like feet that
land
pull out.
Yeah, little. That's right.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like I would say that you've got 3 exposed people on this one, and they've just got nowhere to go. They are literally up to their waist as well, which is the worst.
Yeah,
like at least if you were down there,
like crouch in there.
The helmet poking out, you'd feel a little bit more protected. But this is like, oh right, I'm here, am I? Great. So this whole section's gone. I'm gonna be toast.
So the driver is both completely unprotected, which means if someone takes him out, that thing crashes into the nearest wall. And also he's got that massive cannon right over his head. So when that thing fires,
so he's also deaf.
So he's going to be completely deafened when that gun is actually fired.
I would say there's the most Vipers in the Cobra legions now are the tinnitus Vipers. They're the ones that I think lead.
Yeah, that's the most common.
The reason Cobra haven't taken over yet is because all the Vipers have got workman's comp claims in.
There's a lot. I should have called you workers comp, shouldn't I? Paddy workers comp Lennon. I should have done. Triple T, says Jason Pentecost, for one of the Joe vehicles.
Oh, of course.
Absolutely. We might, again, that's a good shout. We might come to it in a second. Wolverine Snicks has never seen the Ringneck, Pat. You've exposed him. You've exposed yourself to him.
I enjoy the Ringneck. It's a fun vehicle. I actually like it. It's crazy that the vehicles that I liked from that era tended to not be the ones that would get repainted, though. And this is one of the ones that never got a repaint.
Jeremy doesn't even remember it and had a ton of Neo Vipers. It's definitely one that slipped through, I think, for most people.
Well, like you said, if it only had if it never got redecoed, then it only came out once.
It was out for a year. It was in shops for a couple of months.
Well,
and it disappeared.
It came out. Yeah. It came out first in Spy Troops, I think, and then in Valor vs. Venom there was a store exclusive 2-pack.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't around long.
Yeah. So
it's no surprise a lot of
it was low.
No surprise a lot of our viewers have never seen one. Renegade Biker says, Chris, what do you think about the Cobra Mamba and how it defies all forms of what a regular helicopter uses to generate lift and flight, in my opinion?
The Mamba is magic.
Yep.
Magic.
It's magic.
All Gyro Vipers are actually
wizards.
+4 wizards. Class 4 wizards, and
oh, so true.
That said, I love the Mamba. It's such a fun design. It's
gorgeous.
Crazy. God, I loved that thing as a kid.
It's gorgeous, and it's so fun. Like that's what it needs to be.
Purples
as well.
And the reds and it's gorgeous.
The thing with the Mamba is it covers so many things for me. It looks bad to the bone. Like it looks awesome. It looks so mean, so cool. It's got that dope cross helicopter blade thing, which is just like that. That's the technical. This is the universal
American
sign
for
a Mamba.
For Mamba, Cobra
Mamba. It's just got that wicked, that. But also comes with a really awesome pilot too. So there's so many beautiful things about it. The deco, the Mamba's great. And also 2 pods as well, just awesome.
What do you suppose that does to the Mamba whenever it's in that crazy amount of lift, and then suddenly more than just a missile flying off?
Yeah,
there's an entire pod with multiple missiles and a guy that
So he wildly goes
pod
tips to
in,
one
right?
side.
But one pod leaves and the whole thing just starts spinning.
And
How
takes
long
out
it just
everyone.
drops it. We can't
Yeah.
avoid that thought. Is that the possibility that it just drops the pod and then the pod engages into its flight mode with no wings or whatever it's doing.
Mate, let's not get into the design elements because we'll be here. We'll do that next. That'll be the next monthly, or just a breakdown of the Cobra Mamba in all its glory. Brett Smith, mate, you might be waiting a little bit longer for that particular one because it's not in any of our lists at the moment, but we do talk about it in a second. Okay. Action figure expert. Before we move on, how about the Cobra Ice Saber? It's got a lot of gaps in it, hasn't it?
It's got so much stuff going on.
Mm-hmm. And the recent Real American Hero issue, you saw Lowlight kill the driver of it, actually, firing through one of those gaps.
From miles away as well, isn't he? He's really far away when he does that.
But again, a vehicle I love.
Yeah.
Completely ridiculous.
Yeah.
The blue plastic scares me now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Brett says, Cobra's design really is put enough guns on a vehicle, it will eventually hit something.
Well, Cobra doesn't care about the safety of their drivers. That's they're fodder to them.
Based on the design of almost all their vehicles.
But apparently based on the design of most G.I. Joe vehicles.
They made a buzzball, Eric. That a buzzball was made and they put someone inside it.
What if that breaks down underground? The dude just started.
It'd be like one of those Tesla tunnels that Elon Musk is building. Nobody'd be able to get the driver out.
Yeah.
Oh man, that is so messed up. Oh, the stun someone mentioned. That is actually a good shout.
That has no protection.
There's a lot of exposure on the stun. Yeah. But again,
and when it's driving on its three wheels and it splits apart, that whole thing's just gonna.
And this is the global hand signal for stun.
The stun, yeah.
ASL,
ASL for stun.
Yeah.
Good shout there, Pat. And also a little bit kind of, I would say, not one I think many people would have expected to pop up. But in fact, a lot of people didn't even know it existed. So good work on that one, mate.
Ringneck, yeah.
You only did the ringneck because you wanted to look cool, didn't you?
Yeah. No, I actually think of the ringneck all the time whenever the topic of unsafe vehicles comes up. That's why I had to pick it.
Good man.
And defend it a little bit. Maybe really what one of us should be doing is defending the vehicle.
Oh,
have a ridiculous defense of each vehicle, as they're obviously a problem.
Joe OC says Cobra, maximum destruction, 0 victories. I like that. That should be on a t-shirt, actually.
Self-inflicted destruction.
Pogo is the best, and you all know it. He's actually got a point there. Yeah, that is brilliant.
Totally
I love that.
Scramble the driver's brains.
I love the commercial for that. It's just beautiful.
I just love the Pogo because I have this mental image of anybody piloting it just propulsively vomiting when they're driving it.
Yeah. It's
they're like boing.
So true. Dan K says, you guys have me laughing over here. What if it breaks down underground? Absolutely. The ferret. Yes, Jason, the ferret, but the ferret is in itself a ATV. So like the Fang should have a cockpit because it's a helicopter.
Actually, no. The Fang shouldn't have a cockpit. I was going to bring this up earlier, but it's a gyrocopter. Yeah, it requires a runway, and it's actually based on a its lift is generated by the shape of the blades and the propulsion behind it. So it's not a helicopter.
Interesting.
It can't hover.
Okay, well, how do I put this?
Take that.
Do you still accept the ferret then because of its just general design of being an ATV?
Well, actually, I do. Similar vehicles to the ferret are used.
Well, that's just it. They use, like I was saying, they use motorcycles and stuff like that. Just not necessarily in combat, but
even nowadays you see ATVs on the battlefield. So
he's 100% right, Jason. You're 100% right because it's the same thought process going into the Ram with a massive Gatling gun on it when you've got a giant
with the gun.
Yeah,
you've got that mortar launcher on the side. Yeah,
on one side, which is going to just be like, and now I'm facing this way for the rest of the battle. Yeah, no, you're totally spot on, Jason. I take it all back. I was wrong on about 3 fronts there, and I accept that. And we're going to move on quickly so I don't have to think about it too much. Yojo says, I think Tesla should make a life-size Pogo. That would be amazing. Self-drive.
It would be unsurprising.
Right. The Fang 2. Yes, actually, that is a beauty. Yeah, agreed. That's a beauty too. And also very open and ridiculous.
Dangerous.
Very dangerous indeed. Okay. That's Pat's Ringneck. Great shout, Pat. And again, I don't think many people would have expected that one. So good shout. Next up then is Erik.
The Ninja Force Ninja Raider Battle Axe.
Beautiful. You could have had any of these Ninja Force vehicles and you'd have been right.
Yeah. You're on a go-kart that has the teacup ride from Disneyland on top of it. How do you drive this thing when you're spinning around?
Just spewing 360 degrees.
Yeah, like you have no cover unless you're facing forward. Like you're just sitting there. There's no seatbelts. There's no way to like latch yourself in. So you're just gonna fly out of it. There's cannons on top of the spinning seat. Like
the centrifugal force is gonna fuck you off into your own cannon blasts.
Only the Arasakage center of gravity can operate. Only a red ninja can operate this.
Yeah, you have to have the mindset. Definitely.
You have to have the.
What you have to have is the butt cheek strength to hold yourself onto the seat, just using your ass muscle.
You just clench and you hang.
You just clench and hold on there.
That red ninja looks like he's about to poo himself. It's because he's clenching. He's doing the Arashikage butt clench of.
But yeah, this thing is the most ridiculous thing.
Also, Cyclone Slash sounds like a really big wee, doesn't it? Like a really goes to the toilet. I'm gonna have this massive Cyclone Slash, and then you basically when you come out, the next person goes in. It's everywhere.
It also says real ninja action, as if real ninjas were go-karts with teacup rides on top of them. I don't think any real ninja was ever this vehicle.
Oh my god, look at this comment. Battle Axe versus Roadhog on Rainbow Road, everyone. Yeah, that would be amazing. That would be amazing.
Rainbow Road it's gonna set me off. It's a trigger. Don't.
I love Rainbow Road.
That was that's the one with no sides, isn't it?
So
exactly. Yes. Yeah. You slide off all the time. Yeah.
Oh man, that now you're right. Now I've got like PTSD thinking about that now. Yeah. Thanks. No, that's so true. Oh man, that was brilliant. Great shout though, Erik. The Battle Axe, the what was the other one called? The Raider? No, they're all Raiders, aren't they? What was the other one called that you said?
Pile Driver?
Pile Driver. That's another one.
Same thing. Like
ridiculous.
That's that's it. This is a toy that was designed around a function, visual.
It's all fun kids.
This is pure toy. This is like pure toy. Like
why would a ninja use the battle axe? Ninjas are assassins. You're not supposed to see them coming. if you could get this up to somebody to kill them before they saw you, you're the best ninja ever. As it's spinning around with the guns blazing.
Really, it's a proof of concept for those Snake Eyes movie motorcycles that allow the figures to spin.
Oh my goodness. I love those. That is the best when they're like that, aren't they? And they're just kind of going. Brilliant. And I love the Red Ninja as well. The one that they do a Red Ninja in it is everything but red.
Yeah, as a kid, I was like, oh, finally, a Red Ninja, and it's not a repaint of Storm Shadow or anything like that. It's a repaint of Dice.
He actually becomes red later on because he keeps coughing up blood from being fecked around the machine.
Anyway, Ninja Force Battle Axe is a great shout, Erik. I think that's definitely. I mean, any of the Ninja Force stuff, like I said, could have gone in there. Brilliant stuff. So next up is me, I believe, and I've gone with one of my favourites. Going back to when I was a child, I had this vehicle, and it is the Cobra Imp. Now, this one is I love this vehicle. I thought it was so super cool and fun and really cool and interesting.
Great angles.
But even as a kid, I thought when those missiles went off, whoever's sitting in that spot is just toast, basically. But the missiles were so cool, and the fact they kind of came apart and all those little ringlets
come off,
just so dope. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff to like about it, but also to be very, very scared about. And also, I feel like I went with the most very, very obvious ones, like Havoc, obviously, for the Joes. I feel like this is an obvious one for Cobra. What do you guys think? You in the same? Do you agree, or do you think this is actually a lot safer than most?
I think this is one we nearly all picked this one, right?
Yeah. Yep.
This is like in all of our top trees.
Yeah, I kind of wonder where he's going after he's laid all these mines in front of himself.
He keeps going forward over the mines.
I also could obviously it was. I feel like it wasn't a easy thing to do, if I remember correctly, to get those mines off the missile. Did it just pop off? I can't remember.
Yeah, they came apart and then they all slid off like a rod.
Don't think I ever utilized that feature as a kid. I think I just kept the missiles on. Intact and just had them fire off every now and again. But yeah, this is for me. This is just a lot of backdraft, shall we say? But one thing I will say about this vehicle, again, beautiful design, and the treads were so cool.
Yeah,
like the fact they had that sag on them along the top that gave them that weird shape. And like you say, the kind of angles on the actual
all the shapes on this thing make it very cool visually. And the way I remember the way the missiles would raise up, click, 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 on the curve, and it was just such a cool vehicle to play with. But yeah, completely ridiculous.
Yeah. Robert H says love imp. Is that a nickname for some of us? Love imp just because of the commercial song with the best lyric ever. That's why the imp is so important to Cobra. I should have sung that, shouldn't I? Can someone sing that?
I don't remember the.
I don't remember the ad. Sorry.
Pat remembers it, and he's
I don't.
saying on purposely not singing it. Jeremy, imp and ad, the same principle of hurting the pilot. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Off topic, Brett Smith. But what do you guys think of the release on G.I. Joe the movie on June 23rd, 25th? I personally think it's awesome, and I'm going to be there on both days. You try and stop me.
I will only be there on the 25th. With Chris.
Can I drop the news?
Yeah.
Coming to America to see Action Force the movie in the cinema.
Yeah.
Paddy's going to be joining us out here on the East Coast. We're going to and Joel, in actual fact, Joel Elvis Rocker. I'm going to ruin that for him as well, and everyone else. And we're all going to go see the movie. Cannot bloomin' well wait.
Yeah,
I'm definitely seeing it on Thursday as well. Thursday night, Saturday afternoon, 100%. 2 viewings. I'm going to make sure I know what this movie is like in the cinema by the time I've finished.
What we're actually going to do is we'll be doing a reading of the Action Force script
During
the movie showing. Yes, so we'll be overdubbing all the Yo-Joes with full forces and so on.
It's Sergeant Slammer.
Come to the 1 p.m. 25th of June showing in, I guess it's in Rhode Island somewhere.
It'll be
myself and Chris and Erik will be.
It'll be in Massachusetts. Actually.
Massachusetts, okay. So we will be at that screening into Jet Stadium, 1 p.m. on the 25th of June, and we will, every time they say Yo Joe, we will say full force.
I'll be screaming out all of the overdubs. It's going to be hilarious. People are going to kick us out. We'll never see the movie ever again. It'd be really sad, actually. Ed says, did the Imp and the Adder come out in the same year? They're practically the same. And isn't the Detonator just an awkward teenage version of the Adder?
All adders grow up to be a detonator.
Oh, that's genius. Ed, that is a cracking comment, mate. And I'm just going to say yes to all of that. Yojo OC has got his tickets for the 23rd. Can't wait. It's going to be brilliant. I think it's going to be one of those moments that brings the kind of community together for one day. Anyway, we have kind of got to the end of our kind of initial list, so we're going to slip into a few honorable mentions before we move on to the next segment. We've got basically, rather than do them separately, I thought I'd just throw them all up on the screen and talk through them a little bit. Obviously, the RPV has been mentioned already. That hardball card art is gorgeous as he's getting burned alive by that missile. There's something a little bit more, more fun about it than the others. But I think the fact that he's facing the correct way helps, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Missile's going that way.
So he can, and the heat blast would hit him directly in the face.
Exactly. Right in the grid. Who had the RPV?
I think I suggested that initially.
Who had it as a kid?
Oh, I did.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Pat, did you have the RPV?
I had none of these as a kid.
It didn't get out here, I don't think, the RPV.
I don't remember it.
I didn't have any of these 6. Actually.
I don't remember having. I certainly didn't have it, but I don't remember if it came out with in the UK or not.
It didn't. I don't think it came out in Action Force. No.
I don't remember it. The Mud Fighter, though, I did get in the United States, and that, as much as I absolutely adore this vehicle for its bonkers design, crazy like how many bombs has it got? Like 30 bombs or something on the bottom of it, and then this cockpit with huge gaping gaps in it. That, I could just imagine you're doing however fast you're doing in this plane, getting all sorts of bugs and wind smacking you in the face the entire time. It's no wonder he's got that massive tash and glass and shades dogfight.
And of course that giant propeller on the back that will slice birds open and cover you in feathers.
Well, it's to protect the Joes from Raptor.
That's so dark.
Against Raptor and Voltar.
That's so dark. Poor Freedom, he got in the way in a fight, and they're all gone now. Pat, what were you going to say about the Mud Fighter?
I was going to say, didn't the RPV come out in Europe in the Action Force line in silver with a blue and red missile?
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right. Yeah, I didn't have it again, but
That's probably why it just isn't clicking in your head, because looking at it, it's one of the ones the most different.
And that would have been a completely different look as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah, completely different look.
What year? 89? Did you say?
I don't know what time.
I don't think it's 87 to 89. I think it might be 90 if it's come. Yeah, if it did come out, it was in 90.
I'm looking, and I do see it. Yeah, and it came out as G.I. Joe: The Action Force is what it came released as. Okay, and yeah, it was silver with the blue and actually the card art is completely different. That's wicked. Should have shown that. You'll just have to look it up, guys, on Blood for the Baron. It's very, very cool. It was 90. Thank you very much, Paddy, and thank you very much, Pat, for putting that out there. Yeah, it's completely different, and the artwork is so cool. It's got hardball on it still, but the very, very different. Very cool. Okay. Right, so also in there, I threw in the General, and the reason I threw in the General was because this is really cool and really armored and fortified and very protecting, whatever. However, if you're on the platforms at any point and they go whoop, then it's game over. Also, the giant cannon in the middle. I mean, I can't see anyone being on that thing when that goes off. But that was one I wanted to add in here. Do you agree with that, guys, or would you just assume that they would have alarms to get people off the actual vehicle when the thing's flipped up?
Well, there's people on it in the card art while the giant mortar is firing. So we have to assume that that's taken in the microsecond before the backwash affects them all off into the atmosphere.
Anyway, the General.
I assume that every one of these vehicles is just kind of waiting for the G.I. Joe equivalent of a no prize. Where somebody tries to explain technically some, a little bit extra, almost like a Star Trek technical manual thing where the pseudoscience kind of makes you go, now I can't prove that it won't work at all.
It's all inertial dampeners. It's
Right.
What's the thing they always talk about with Transformers about the changing of scale?
mass shifting.
Mass shifting.
Mass shifting. Yeah.
Oh, mass shifting. What? How does that doesn't even make sense. Right. Also, Slaughter with the Triple T. I mean, the Triple T is just hell on earth for all three occupants. The two losers on the side who have got guns to like maneuver around, and of course are completely open. And then the Sarge.
And I noticed none of them are actually holding on to the vehicle as it's moving forward.
No, Leatherneck is literally just like got his gun down, hasn't he?
Yeah. So basically, if that thing goes over a bump in the road, and Leatherneck is going to smack his head against the ground.
Well, we all know what the big move for the Triple T is. It's not the guns on the side, and it's not the missiles. It's Sergeant Slaughter driving as fast as he can and then jumping out and punching you.
And then stopping and just jumping on top of a bash. Yeah.
He did it a number of times, didn't he? He did it in the intro. He did it on with the bats in the Rise of Sentinel Rise. It's a special move. It's his tag team Terminator.
Instead of just plowing through the foes, he just stops and gets out and hits them in the face.
Amazing. That is the Triple T, and
he does it when he gets gas as well. He pulls into the gas station, jumps out, punches the attendant. Fill it up, maggot.
Puts it in there, fills her up, puts it back, punches the attendant.
Puts the gas station, puts him in a headlock.
Cobra clutch. Amazing. We've also got the Patriot in there, which was one of Erik's additions on that one.
It's a box with these 4 tiny treads on that are like there's no protection going on except for the driver's legs. Because the treads are on like the side of a flat base. Like how is this thing getting over any kind of terrain? Nothing about this video. Nothing is safe there.
Even on a flat road,
giant cannon on the side.
Even on a flat road, that thing's bumping around, isn't it?
Exactly.
It kind of reminds me of, is it the, what is the track called in He-Man? Attack track. Where it goes with the wheels.
Yeah. It goes really slow.
And that's the universal signal for an attack track.
I feel like it's one of those things that it's like the myth, like if you put a penny on a railroad track, it could derail the train. It's like that. If you put a rail, if you put a penny on in front of the Patriot's going to hit it and flip over.
You're right. That giant cannon as well. That's going to be spinning round for about a week, isn't it? Before
it's just going to knock it over.
And flip it over. Yeah.
It's like the big rib on the Flintstones car. Like it's.
Amazing.
Scarlet!
Amazing. Oh, that's genius. We've got Outback Stu says, what about the armadillo? The armadillo's a good one.
It's a good one, but the guy kind of sits low enough that
he sits low enough. Yeah, it's not much worse than a regular tank.
Yeah.
Dan K says, what about the motorized tank car?
Yeah, some of those motorized vehicles, they definitely deserve a shout out.
Any of those little ones,
they all look like
I particularly
the Dreadnought axe that's going to keep
the Dreadnought axe that basically only gives you a haircut. It's whoever's wearing it, it's a haircut because it stops about 6 inches in front of their forehead.
Every time you see them riding on one of those, it reminds me of Krusty the Clown on that tiny motorcycle, on that tiny bike, or like Homer when he does the loop.
Three-wheeler, that one's hilarious.
Pulls his pants off as he goes over through the loop. That's what I just imagine. Also the Cobra Battle Barge I threw in there because effectively, and I think it was apt, is the sitting duck is what I call it.
Yeah, because it doesn't have any independent propulsion.
No, they're just floating around, all like 3 of them on there, just like shooting randomly at stuff.
I guess the propulsion being they were like positioned around Cobra Island, maybe as
like a permanent emplacement around the island, like maybe anchored somehow.
Radar dishes, and there's
a sitting duck for any sort of there are such things as anti-radar missiles. So I think it's just a big target.
Cobra doesn't care about their men.
Exactly.
So no, you get to go on the battle barge.
Rob A says the battle barge is perfect for the way I like to play with figures. Just stick them all on a floating thing and have them talk about their lives all day.
That's the most boring position. They're like all sitting there talking.
Yeah, right, playtime.
Case of Bud Light in the cooler. They're cracking them open, just like, yep.
Amazing. Okay, cool. So yeah, there are most of our honorable mentions. There are so many more, of course there are, and we could talk about this all day long.
I want to bring up one more.
Yes,
that popped into my head during this discussion, and that was the Stinger. The Stinger Jeep has platform on the back for people to stand behind the missile launcher.
Yeah, they all come out like with the soot on their face. No, that's totally true. That's a good one actually. The swamp ski has been mentioned by a lot of people actually in this, but again,
getaway.
That's more about getting away in it. Yeah, that's more about like just a little vehicle. It's not. Let's face it, not all of the vehicles and stuff like that were kind of like combat vehicles, were they? Some of them were just like throw a gun on it because obviously it's GI Joe or Cobra. It makes sense. But a lot of it is just like, things that would be used around the base or things that would be like simple transportation or battlefield
like the weapons transport.
The weapons transport. Yeah, I mean that you could say is a death box, but obviously it's performing a service, I guess. The bomb disposal is a good one as well because that is just, I mean, it's really protective. But you're effectively just driving into bloody explosions all the time. It sounds awful. Anyway, that's our honourable mentions. We are now moving on to the next phase of the monthly, and that is version therapy. So I hope you guys are ready. I'm not because I haven't teed the video up. Before we get into version therapy, though, here's a little message from me. Hey there, guys. Just wanted to let you know about an app that I've been helping to develop for a few years now called Hoardar. But what is Hoardar, I hear you scream? Well, a number of years ago, I discussed a project with a good friend of mine and now co-owner/developer about an app that could help collectors of all shapes and sizes. I'm talking about the shapes and sizes of the collections, really, but also people. The app would be a place where you could share your new items, build collections and sub-collections, or just browse the feed to see cool things. Well, we made it. We tested it for a number of years, and now it's out there for you to enjoy on iOS or Android devices. You can upload a single item at a time at your own pace and slowly build your collections. You can post status updates that could be related to your collections, like getting a delivery or posting a scene in which you can tag items in that image if you've uploaded them in the past. You can add tags to your items in order to easily search for and find them, and of course to add them into your respective collections. You can like posts, comment on them, or start a conversation with a fellow collector, directly message users you follow, and even add items you see on your feed to your want list. If you prefer to use your computer or laptop, have no fear, you can use the website browser version and even utilise the awesome inventory option, allowing any user to change certain details, add notes, upload bulk items from spreadsheet files, and download a CSV of your entire itemised collection. We made this app for collectors, and we hope that you enjoy using it as much as we enjoyed creating it. Now get to hoarding. Okay then, continuing with our brand new monthly segment now, Version Therapy, is where we choose a single G.I. Joe or Cobra character and have a discussion on what action figure version is their best. Now, of course, we are all probably going to have different opinions on this based on when we were born, personal experience and so on, but that's where the fun lies. Feel free to also let us know who your favourite action figure version is and why in the comments below as well. So who have we got next? Last month we looked at Dr. Mindbender due to his recent classified reveal, but for this discussion we thought it would be fun to do a vehicle driver or pilot in this particular case. Yep, it's good old Captain Brad J. Armbruster himself, Ace. Yay! Okay, so this is an interesting one, and what was interesting about it was when I posed this question to the team, everyone individually got back really quick with completely different versions, and it's one of those things where I think this doesn't happen very often. Like, I know we tend to do it sometimes on version therapy to make the conversation a little bit more interesting, where we all tend to be like drawn to similar versions anyway. But in this case, it was all over the place. The only kind of similarities I would say with Pat and Erik, but we'll kind of get to those in a second. First up, though, is Paddy. Who have you gone with, Paddy?
So obviously I picked Ace. I think I wrote Chris.
Amazing.
Although actually this version is called Captain Ace. So this is the version 8 released in 2015 as part of the Silent Strike kind of Wolf Squad setup that was released as part of the 50th anniversary. So he was included with the Hiss driver, the Hiss gunner, and Sightline as well, I believe.
Yeah.
So I really like this one because the grey, red, and black on the jet are carried over to the figures, and I think that color
It's
scheme
like he's a
looks really,
transformer.
really good. Yeah, it looks, but I just think that color scheme looks really good on Ace. So he's a bit of a nightmare mishmash of parts. He's a bit of 25th anniversary Ace, I think the head, right?
Sprinkle.
And then he's Resolute Duke for the arms and the torso, and then the legs, I believe, are Skydive from Pursuit of Cobra.
I think the arms are Skydive as well.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah, I think Duke is the torso is
the torso is Duke, right? Yeah. So he's a bit of a mishmash of parts, but again, I really, really like the color scheme. He fits really well with the jet. I actually have never owned any Ace figure at all. I just never owned a Sky Striker. And the one time I did see one at retail was in New York, just after I nearly got arrested at the Empire State Building. So I was a little bit too traumatized to.
How
it was sitting there.
How many people you exposed yourself to at that point?
That was about the 14th, I think.
So you got away with a few before they arrested you.
Yeah, so as I was about to expose myself to the Forbidden Planet in New York City, I saw the Sky Striker, but didn't buy it. But like, I honestly don't know how, because this vehicle was released like 8 times.
Yeah,
in various deco options.
It's probably been released in the time we've been doing this episode.
Yeah,
Paddy.
2 more times.
Yeah. But I don't own any of them. But I do really, really like the color scheme on this figure, and the helmet and accessories and so on are really, really nice as well. So that's why I went with this version of Ace.
Awesome, good shout.
This one's good. I like that. I like that he's updated and a little bit more futuristic. I love that with Ace. At the same time, though, man, that 25th head is one of the worst sculpts.
And it just happened to be that year where they mispainted all the eyes on the G.I. Joe as well.
It makes it worse.
So any version you have has got really crazy eyes.
Yeah. But you swap out the head on this, and it's honestly the only good modern Ace, I think. Like I don't like any of the modern Aces except this one. So
yeah, good shout. I think for me it's the deco, and with the helmet on, he looks dope.
Yeah.
But yeah, as soon as you pull that helmet off, it's like, whoa there. That isn't very Ace-like. He looks really shocked, like all the time. Like his bed head.
He's been taking uppers to keep flying.
This is Ace with night blindness, isn't it? And he can't land his Sky Striker on the flag anymore. Amazing. Good shout there. Yeah, well, Pat, what about you? Your thoughts on this particular figure?
I think that the things that Paddy talked about, like the updating it to be futuristic and the colors that it has, are spot on. I mean, it's a nice version of Ace. I think it's a fun thing to do, to take the existing Joe characters and make a somewhat updated or futuristic version of them. And this one was well done. I enjoy this one as well.
Cools. I'm also not going to mention anything about the deco in lots of detail, because I have a feeling we're going to be kind of covering that in a little while. So I won't say any more on that. Okay, so next up, I can't remember who comes after Paddy. It's Patrick, isn't it?
Maybe?
I think it's Patrick. That's you, Pat. What did you choose?
Is that me?
It is you, Patrick.
I chose Ace version 1. Yeah.
Of course you did.
Right.
Love it.
Sometimes there's a little bit of a encouragement to not choose the original one, because that's maybe me implying that there's nothing good that was done later, and that's not at all the case. I just happen to love this one the most. It's one of my favorite G.I. Joe figures of all time, for sure. Whenever I got Ace as a kid, that was the main figure that I played with after that. There wasn't another Joe that ended up replacing him ever. Well, 1989 Snake Eyes came around, but that was when I kind of become a collector more than a kid playing with them. But yeah, I think that this Ace embodies what is so right about the entire G.I. Joe line, especially in the early years, because this one is so Ron Rudat.
Yeah.
If you look at the design, one of the things that Ron would do is he would pull things. It wasn't like he just looked at what an F-14 pilot was wearing and made that be the pilot. That's not what G.I. Joe is. G.I. Joe is looking at the things that are going to appeal to a kid. And I think that the kid in Ron was shining whenever he chose this particular pressure suit to be Ace's outfit. And Dan Klingon-Smith's on. I actually did just look at his book. It's volume 1, where it explores Ace. And I knew that there was a thing in there about the helmets. I'm not real sure if
I like the way you say that. I like the way you say that, like you've been caught doing something naughty.
No,
it's like I know
I'm not doing
Dan's
something
on.
naughty. I just remembered it and I needed to reference it.
I looked at your book, Dan. I'm really sorry. I looked down to the page. I saw that thing.
I'm saying I used it as reference because I do remember that the helmet was something that kind of evolved, and I kind of wonder if the helmet's something Ron just made up, or if it was also inspired by something, because it's not paired in real life. If you find the old pictures of this pressure suit that I assume Ron saw in a magazine somewhere himself, or maybe he did see it in person. He was a fan of various military stuff, so he may have seen it in a museum and been inspired from there. But the helmet's new, but it works so well. I love everything about this figure. Whenever I got this figure and realized that the helmet could go on and off and it was different than the other Joe helmets, he had space in it. He's just a really cool one. I love this guy.
No, you're right, man. I mean, I have great memories of whatever Christmas it would have been for me in the UK, and getting the Sky Striker and just being like so just absolutely over the moon with it. Like all the features were cool, the parachute and all that kind of stuff. But then the figure, like Ace was always that one that was just so dope. Putting the helmet on, taking the I've got such like real strong like physical memories, like feet. Oh, I can feel
memory.
Yes, the tactile memory, like putting the helmet on and taking it off and just loving every aspect of it. I thought it was super like crazy futuristic. The only thing I was a little bit like not sure about was the head sculpt. That was the only thing I thought the head sculpt was a little bit goofy. And I thought, like, when I saw him in the cartoon, he was this kind of debonair, dark hair, kind of like, kind of styled, very like male model almost in the cartoon. So, and I was one of those people that, if I saw the turtles had to look like the action figures, and they never did. And I was a bit, confused about that. But I did love Ace. I thought it was amazing. Great design, though. Absolutely.
It's a great figure. And if you guys haven't seen it, Patrick's other show, Articulated Points, has a fantastic episode about the Ace figure and the prototypes and everything like that. Such a great figure.
You're only saying that in the show.
Whenever I see the helmet, I always picture that one bit in the comic where the cockpit is all shot up and he has to give the controls to Lady J while he disconnects the helmet, and because it's all shattered and he can't see anymore, he's got to throw it out of the Sky Striker.
Yeah, totally dope. Again, Articulated Points link in the description, guys. You can go and check that out right now. It is a really good episode as well. Check all the episodes out.
Well, wait until
we're done.
No, do it now. Just everyone leave. Just everyone just bounce.
And now that Hasbro has this figure digitally, because they showed us that they have the digital asset for this now, it would be really cool to see if they could alter it a little bit, to change the helmet out and make it into the Sunbow version. I would love to have that figure as well.
Yeah.
100%. RKW1138 says, makes me laugh that Ruthell has no oxygen mask. You mean, I've forgotten his name already. Fail safe. Yeah, he was out the back just kind of going. Ace is like, "What's wrong? Why?"
Ace is in his pressure suit, thinking everything's fine, and fail safe's in the back, choking to death.
I can't even hear anything in this thing, and he's going, "Help!" Yeah,
especially
amazing.
if they go into space like they did in Sunbow.
Yeah.
Brett Smith says, watching Top Gun Maverick, when Maverick was in the spoiler, his flight suit gave strong Ace vibes. Cool. Can't wait to see that.
I don't think it's a spoiler that Tom Cruise gets into a flight suit at some point in Top Gun.
Yeah, we've seen it in the trailer.
Wow.
But
No, I'm not going to see it anyway, but
we weren't expecting him to be flying an F-18 in his nappies or whatever.
I find it ironic that Ace is this hotshot poker player, but he dressed like he lost a bet. Ed's been on fire with the comments today. Absolutely on fire. Okay. Let's move on then from version 1, and that is Erik Accident's choice. But it doesn't venture too far from version 1, does it, Erik? Do you want to tee it up?
Yeah, I my favorite version of Ace is version 5. That came with the Conquest in 98. This was 98, right?
Yeah.
I love this version for a lot of the same reasons that Patrick was talking about, because I love the version 1 as well, but this one, I love the dark colors and stuff like that. It kind of harkens the version that Paddy picked kind of harkens back to this a little bit with the grays and the blacks and all that stuff, and it's very cool. And again, the helmet's cool, the sculpt is cool, I like the added detail deco, like painting the knife, painting the gun. I almost wish that the new version of Ace coming out with the Sky Striker, I wish one of the things they were doing in that line was plussing up the deco just a touch. Not a ton. I don't want like washes and all that stuff. But if they painted Ace's gun and Ace's knife, that would have been enough. Like that's, something like some stuff like that across the board on all the vintage reissues that they're doing. But that's it.
Just a few more deco hits, basically.
Yeah, I love this version. But I recently decided I was going to buy one of these again because I don't own one anymore. And wow, are they expensive?
Yeah.
Jeez. So then I decided I'm not going to buy one of these. And
just paint a version 1 one.
Just paint a version 1, yeah.
Paint the HasLab one. You'll be fine.
I am really excited about the HasLab re-release of Ace and
Scarlet
in the blue version of the suit. I love that they're doing that.
Yeah, Robert H says it's going to be cool to see pictures of this guy next to Pilot Scarlet when people get their HasLab Strikers.
Yep.
Absolutely. Ryan Sweeney says this is Ace the Buzz Lightyear edition. WJ is a little confused, I think, and is asking, just got here, what scale is this? Who will be distributing this? Nobody. We're not revealing anything, WJ. This is a flashback episode where we look at our favorite versions of certain characters. Apologies for the confusion on that one.
Go ahead.
I do think that what you were just talking about, the price of this figure and the fact that they're doing a Night Force ripcord, I wouldn't make it exactly like this, but I think that the market is heavily there for Ace in a gray or black. And
and a Night Force
deco to go with a Night Force deco. I would maybe take the visor red.
Yeah.
I would like to clarify that this is not my favorite version of the Conquest. Just in case anyone thinks that might be, it is.
What is your favorite version of the Conquest?
The version 1. I love that one. I don't dislike this version, but that version 1 with the gray and the yellow and everything is just gorgeous.
Yeah, that was a good Christmas as well. Getting the X30. Oh, and funny enough,
the Python one is rad as well.
Oh, totally.
In your videos.
Speaking of Ace and the Conquest X30. There is a version of Captain Ace that is effectively a modern one that looks just like Slipstream. And so like it's funny that Ace comes with the X30 Conquest in this, and then they did in the modern, they did a slipstream effectively that just had to name Captain Ace.
So I worked on that Ace.
Amazing.
That came with that.
I was just going to say, didn't you design that one, Erik? Yeah.
And it was not supposed to be Ace. It was supposed to be Slipstream. And then something happened with the name, and we weren't. They just changed it to Ace, but I don't think we never knew that they were changing it to Ace until we
it
got
came
the first
out.
Packaged samples, and we're like, wait a minute, this is supposed to be Slipstream.
Unbelievable.
So anyway.
I just thought, yeah, interesting and probably definitely worth mentioning at this point as well.
Yeah. And I don't like that Ace figure either.
Didn't you work on it? Anyway.
Yeah, I did.
Jeremy says, I like Ace version 3 myself.
It's an excellent one as well.
Yes.
It is an excellent one, but
all of the vintage Ace figures are fantastic.
They are, yeah.
And I'm getting onto mine next, and my one is similar to Ace version 3. It's Ace version 2, baby. Now, the reason I went with the 1992 Battlecopter version the reasons are twofold. Puts 4 fingers up. The first is the Battlecopter fits so beautifully in with our previous chat about terrible vehicles that offer 0 protection. They literally, we're talking about the Fang earlier on. This is like, well, let's take away all of your protection and basically just have you dangling off it instead. So that's also one reason. The other reason is I absolutely adore this figure. I think it's so cool. I love the mold. Really nice. I love the head sculpt update. I love the fact they've kind of kept that kind of similar hair color from the first version as well. The helmet's really dope with the mask. And I just love the color scheme as well, that kind of teal and blue. So eye-catching. And I know obviously with the version 3, they kind of did him in like a green, this same figure. I think they did another one after that in black, if I'm not mistaken.
97. Is there a black version? I know there's another green version in 97 that came with the Rattler.
Is it just darker? It might just be darker.
There's also the Street Fighter. They have the Jean-Claude reuse that.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Nice.
Not in black, but
no.
Yeah, in different colors. And there's actually a variation on that one that's really, really significant, where the legs are either one solid color or they're like the 2 colors like this Ace is.
Oh, it's like a brown color is the one I'm thinking of. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was like the teal and the blue, then there's like a green, and then there's like this tan color of that particular mold. So, for one thing, I think it kind of shows you the success of a certain mold when it gets used so often. Yeah. And 3 uses for a character that, you hardly see that. I mean, it hasn't seen that many Ace versions because obviously he comes with a vehicle. The Sky Striker, I mean, he's so iconic with the Sky Striker. So, it's which is funny, isn't it? I feel like the Sky Striker's come out more than Ace has. Is that?
Well, it has, honestly, because there's that Cobra version of it and the Starscream version of the modern one as well.
And Jetfire.
And Jetfire.
And the Night Boomer. And the modern Night Boomer.
Yeah.
And the Sky Patrol. Oh my God, it just goes on.
The Ace version 3, what vehicle did he come with?
Version 3, Ghost Striker.
The Ghost Striker.
Okay, the Ghost Striker. I was just totally blanking on that.
And the A10 Thunderbolt is the tan one.
That's right. I called it the Rattler earlier. It's not a Rattler. It's a repaint of a Rattler, but
right. Yeah.
Yeah. So for those reasons, this one's up there. But again, the same as Pat. Really, it's the version 1 is always going to be like super close to my heart. But another reason actually there was the third fold actually reason for me wanting this. I vividly remember being, what age would I have been? When did this come out? 93 in our money? Was it, Paddy? 92 in the US, but probably 92, 93
probably
for
93
us.
for us, or, yeah.
So I was 12 going on 13, possibly even 13. And, at that stage, I'm in high school already. I should not be playing with toys anymore. I was already on the verge of getting out of it. I've told the story many times before of being ruthlessly embarrassed by a friend in front of 2 girls at school, and in front of the entire school actually. But that's by the by. I don't really think about it. I don't care anymore. cries uncontrollably.
Sounds like you do.
I don't care
Look
about
at me
it.
now. He screams with his
Shut up.
subscribers on YouTube.
Shut up about it, yeah? I've got, that doesn't bother me, so shut up.
He has his Action Force pillow to cry in. It's okay.
Exactly.
What did you say, Pat? What was that, mate? Isn't that amazing?
He's not crying into it right now.
No, I'm sitting on it. I'm making it smell like a badger's bum hole. Anyway, yes, that's perfect timing. By the way, you are
That was
well
fantastic.
good at that. We couldn't have scripted that. I swear we didn't. Had no clue. Yeah. So the third fold was obviously seeing the commercial for the air commandos and the battlecopters in the UK. So it was the UK version. It was maybe G.I. Joe, the Action Force, maybe just G.I. Joe at that point. But there was
probably G.I. Joe by the point, yeah.
Yeah, but there was definitely some changes in terms of still changes in the commercial, I think. And I remember seeing that, and my mum was watching it with me at the time, and I remember going, "Oh, that looks so cool." And my mum actually said, "Do you want to go to the shops and see if they've got them?" And I was kind of like, "I do." But also I can't because... But
also peer pressure says I can't.
Exactly. Yeah. So I never got any of the Air Commandos as a kid. I made up for that once, all the cool stuff, thanks Dave Tree, by buying pretty much everything he had of them that day. But yeah, so there's a lot of nostalgic buzz here, but not in the way that you would think. So I didn't have the figure, I just wanted it, saw the commercial. Mom was even she was enabling. She was like, "Hey, let's go out and get them all. They all look great. That Spirit looks cool," and so on and so forth. And yeah, and I just So yeah, that's why I chose this ace. Anyway, Brett Smith says, "Just trying to figure out what he was supposed to shoot down with that little gun. What my one, or was it someone else's? Because it's not that little.
I think it's that ace, yeah. Because the battlecopter doesn't have any other armament, so."
Literally just got
no armaments.
It has to stop steering to shoot it too, or never steer because
it's one of the
not like it has a sling or anything on it.
As soon as he takes his hand off that right, it goes off the screen. He goes, "See you later, buddy." Anyway, yeah.
So drop the gun in order to land too.
Maybe just throws the gun at them, Pat. Yoinks that at them.
And anyway, he can't reload his magazine either because then he'll have to take both hands off the throttle.
I like the fact that we never get to the end of these and have like a definitive answer because we've all chosen different things. But I like it. I prefer it. We get more kind of conversation out of it. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. That brings us to the end of the monthly live this month. We made it before the end of May. So there, all the haters, all of the people at school that time. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. Shut up. It's been an absolute pleasure having you guys on. Thank you so much for joining me, lads. I appreciate you taking the time out, everybody.
Thanks for having us again.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Chris.
I was waiting for that, Paddy.
We can do next month. We can do a live broadcast after we watch Action Force the movie in a cinema.
Actually, it'll have to be before we watch Action Force in the cinema because we're going to be doing the weekly in the morning, aren't we, Pat? So. We'll do the weekly in the Saturday morning. Can you not do that, Pat? Have you got to man the battle stations?
If I'll be around or if I will be in Georgia.
Oh, it's Joe Fest weekend.
It is
25th.
Yeah, 25th.
25th. I'm probably gone.
It looks like it's me and you then, Paddy, are going to do the weekly on Saturday. I'll drag you out of bed at 10 a.m. and force you to sit next to
my poor jet lagged body.
You'll be like, I'm Irish, is what you'll say the whole time.
I'm so. What am I doing here? The famine ship brought me here to the United States.
There's so many potatoes everywhere.
Didn't I see Lady Liberty yesterday as I was coming into the harbour when they dropped me at Ellis Island?
That's what you can look forward to on the weekly next week, guys. Thank you to everyone for commenting and throwing, and joining us today. It was a lot of fun. If you are going to Joe Fest on whenever that is, 24th, 5th,
25th, yeah,
25th, you'll get to see Pat.
Yes, I will be there with the Joe department, the toy department booth.
The Joe department.
It's kind of the Joe department, which is apart
For that weekend, it's a Joe department. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah, keep a lookout for Pat and pester him and bother him and tell him how much you love him on the show, and also tell him how awesome you think articulate.
And if you see him, tap him on the shoulder and go, "It's the Full Force Weekly," and people have to do that to him for the entire weekend.
Yeah.
That's what you have to do.
Classified will be there as well, so I will be kind of pulling double duty.
Gross. He's going to be double dutying everywhere. It's going to be disgusting.
Triple duty, and probably I'm going to be doing stuff. It'll be a triple duty.
You're going to have to do a quadruple duty and do
what
the
is your diet like.
You're going to have to do a remote recording for the weekly on Saturday morning, Pat. I don't care. You're just going to have to do it. Get your phone out.
It may not be out of the question. I mean, I'll have to see what's going on then.
You can do it live from the booth when has someone steal your phone as they walk past. Yeah. Anyway, it's been an absolute blast, guys, and a massive laugh. Thank you so much for doing this. Like I said, we'll be back Pat and I will be back with the weekly on Saturday. And hopefully, I imagine some news bursts in the week. I've also got an Intel Live coming tomorrow for the patrons. So our SAS and Red Shadow Army guys, you're going to get triple dose in 3 in a row of my hideous face. So
you could say triple duty tomorrow.
Absolutely triple dutying it. I'm heavy dutying it. That's what I'm doing. Anyway, it's been an absolute pleasure. Now we are at that moment where we all have to say the same thing at the same time after 3. You know what it is, guys. 1, 2, 3.
Full force.
That was disgusting, and I love it. Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos, and as always you can keep up with the show after listening by following on Twitter @TheFullForce, liking the Facebook page facebook.com/TheFullForce, and if you would like to contact the show you can message us on either of those platforms with feedback and questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/TheFullForce podcast, or click on the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force.